Modern Animism makes the oldest spiritual belief easy for today's seekers to understand, practice, and live. Stay tuned and grow with us. Hi, it's Laura Giles, your host of Modern Animism Radio. Thank you for being here. I'm addressing a listener question today. She wants to know how to get out of the simulation. If you have no idea what that means, it's okay. I'm going to lay the foundation before answering. So today I'm going to be talking about animism in the matrix or simulation theory. For now, let's clear our hearts and minds and create the right vibe. Acknowledge the element of earth and thank you for the stars, the sun, our bodies, food, animals, and senses that allow us to perceive and appreciate the beauty in all things. Thank you for giving us a way to feel grounded and stable. Acknowledge and give gratitude to the air for our breath. I thank you for music, books, songs, and all the vibrations that allow us to communicate here and across distances and realms. Thank you for helping us to access the wisdom across the veil, from our inner intuition, and from the spirit helpers in the other world. I acknowledge the element of fire and ask that you help us keep our inner fires burning with purification, passion, and motivation. The fire is weak and small now, but soon it'll grow and give us desire, power, and the creative potential to renew. Thank you. Acknowledge and give gratitude for water, for our feminine ways of knowing, our emotions that give life meaning and show us how to flow in rough spaces. Thank you for your soft strength and deep, dark energy. I give gratitude to our human, plant, animals, and mineral ancestors, our fellow earthlings. May we always practice humble reciprocity and remember that you are our equals and we depend upon you for our survival. I give gratitude to all of you who are listening, sharing the show with others, and commenting. I appreciate you. I am back on the air due to your persistence and support. We've had a 2-year hiatus, but the channel continued to grow and I kept getting questions, so here I am again. With your love and support, I will continue to be. I know everyone asks you to like, share, and subscribe, but it helps with the channel rankings. The higher the ranking, the more YouTube puts us on the first page when you search for something, so it matters. If you're listening to this as a podcast, the same applies. So it's not just a blah, 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 blah request. If you benefit, practice reciprocity and hit the thumbs up or subscribe button. It's literally why we have this podcast today. If you want to do more, you can donate. The link is in the show notes. And if you're a lover and want more interaction, join my private community. It's not Facebook. There's no trolls, no ads, no flaming, no invasion of privacy. It's a chill place where you can talk about anything, really, and connect with others and be seen and heard. All my events are always posted there, too. I'm not really reliable about keeping up with social media or my newsletter, but I'm in the private group every day, so that's the best place to interact with me and animism. So animism in the matrix. Basically, what I want to cover in this podcast is what is the simulation? What's animism got to do with the simulation? And how do I get out of the simulation? So in case you're not aware, in the summer of 2023, the House Oversight Subcommittee held a hearing and revealed that unidentified flying objects, so UFOs, or they call them UAPs now, which stands for Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon, are real. We knew that, right? They exist. In this hearing, the U.S. government, and I say that because I know a lot of our listeners are not in the USA, the U.S. government has recovered some crashed UAPs and biological entities, meaning aliens. And some lawmakers and witnesses asked that there be a protocol to communicate with the public about ongoing events related to UAPs and extraterrestrials, because the committee also revealed that the intelligence that are operating these vehicles have technology that we can't begin to touch. So there's a lot of fear around this topic. And one of the gigantic reasons for that fear is the threat to spirituality. If aliens are real, what does that mean for the belief in a creator or whatever your spiritual beliefs are? If this is the way that you make sense of the world, if this is the way that you find peace in the world, and that's being threatened, of course it's a huge issue. And that's why I want to talk about the simulation. I think the matrix or simulation may pose that same type of threat and make people fear death or even life. As always, I'm not asking you to believe anything. I may not even believe what I'm saying a month from now. I reserve the right to change my mind as new information becomes available, and I give you the same latitude. All we're doing here is considering the evidence. So stay open-minded, stay in a space of love, and be curious. You don't have to let anything freak you out, okay? Cool. So there's a lot of eggheads who can explain the simulation better than I can. So if you're looking for a scientific deep dive, check out YouTube. There's tons of physicists on there who can go into the deep and dirty. And when I call them eggheads, I mean that with the most love. I like brainy people. So here's the quick and dirty version that I hope I'm explaining like I'm talking to a 9-year-old. So first, what is the simulation of the matrix? When we're playing video games, we're engaging in a created world. The characters aren't real. The sceneries aren't real. The challenges they get involved in aren't real. They're programs that are designed to entertain us, right? The characters follow a script. Depending on the type of game, the avatars have some freedom and choices, but the end of the game is pretty scripted. Well, a simulation is the same thing. It's a hologram, simulation, projection, virtual reality, or other non-real created computer simulation of life rather than real life. What we perceive as reality isn't. Does that mean that you and I aren't real? Could be. It could be that you, meaning your consciousness, is the only real thing about it, and your real self is somewhere else wearing a virtual reality headset controlling the whole thing. All the background and other characters are all computer-generated simulations. Or maybe that means that each of us is in an animus somewhere playing a video game while our avatars are here interacting with each other. There's many ways that the simulation can be constructed, but it's all a virtual reality that can be turned off, upgraded, or changed, like turning off a video game or installing an expansion pack. Kind of trippy, right? And if we're in a simulation, how do we get out? That's the big question. Any spiritual path that talks about waking up or enlightenment is talking about waking up to the fact that our perceived physical world isn't real. And there is scientific evidence that they may in fact be true. So any religious path that's talking about a heaven is kind of talking about the same thing. You know, an afterworld, where someplace where we go that's different from this, and this isn't the real world. It's kind of another way of saying the matrix. So, depending on who you're listening to, the odds of our reality being real is at best 50-50. And according to Elon Musk, the odds of this reality being base reality, meaning the reality where it all started and everything else is a projection, is 1 billion to 1. So simulation theory says we're not real. And if there is an I, it's outside the simulation somewhere. It's not me or you, like a player in a game. So not the avatar who is running inside the game. And if this is true, many perceive that we're trapped. Okay, as I said, science is often a threat to spirituality. And if the matrix is real, what does that mean for animism? And I say nothing. I've always viewed animism as a spiritual path for life on Earth. What comes after that is a great mystery. It's unknown. The unknown is factored into it. Everything has a yin-yang pair. There's the known and the unknown. We live in a world of duality. Animism is a path that I walk while in the physical that helps me to embody my entire existence of mind, body, and spirit. If I'm a prisoner, I still have to eat, sleep, and poop. I don't stop all that because I become aware that my reality isn't real. Unless and until I awaken to a point where I can transcend this existence, I still have to go to work, love my people, and pay my taxes. Life goes on. And I don't say that to ignore bigger scientific realities or spiritual questions. I say that in a before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water, after enlightenment, chop wood, carry water kind of way. It's just practical. Knowing that our existence is a simulation doesn't change much. It does raise rather scary questions like who is the creator of the simulation and what does he want with us? But so far, life has gone on for thousands of years with humans living and dying in the circle of life. No one's out to annihilate us or destroy the planet yet, so I feel pretty safe in thinking that we're not going to be destroyed by the simulation anytime soon. The laws of nature are in the design of the simulation. We see it in sacred geometry, the Fibonacci sequence, the seasons. We can still trust that. If you've had a spiritual experience, spoken to your ancestors, or had God experiences, then trust your senses. Could they be simulations? Of course. Could they lead you astray? Of course. But do you know why I talk about love and oneness a lot? Because that's a power that I believe is bigger than any God or simulation. Love is real. Oneness is real. If we all got the game over prompt, and this reality all ended tomorrow, love would still be left. We would still be left. It's all been here since the beginning of time, and always will be. It is. If animism only explains the nature of our simulated reality, it's still a healthy, connected, spiritual, meaningful path to walk within this simulated reality. We can see that as above, so below is true. So being in balance and harmony with nature is still a sensible way to live. I don't see the conflict at all. Animism isn't a revealed religion where a being comes down from on high and tells you what to think or how to act. It's a personal observation of nature and a relationship with that nature that speaks to our heart. We don't have prescribed ways of living. That's what sovereignty is. Our first mandate. It's to know yourself. If you spend time getting to know yourself, I'm sure that you'll go through all sorts of changes. But ultimately, you will arrive to the fact that you're light. The source of love is you. Do that, and connection is inspired by that love too. And you create love. What you touch is love. You live and speak in love. All there is love. If there's a simulation, it's probably a program to distract you from that truth to keep the simulation going. Look around you. I see strife, greed, insecurity, war, competition, striving to be the best and to get to the top. I don't have anything against success, growth, or achievement. Those are fine things, but when they make the janitor, cashier, or librarian feel small and insignificant, that's a problem. When the mighty use the small as sex trafficking slaves or unpaid workers, that's a problem. Those are not enlightened ways to live. So, in my mind, the way out of the matrix is to let go of the distractions. Let go of desire. Know who you are and shine your light. That's more powerful than a simulation. And I don't mean in a be all that kind of way. I mean in a stop being all that kind of way. Don't be ruled by your ego. Be pure consciousness. One of Rumi's shortest poems is called I Am Thine and Thou Art Mine. And it says, eternal life is gained by utter abandonment of one's own life. That's what I'm talking about. Chop wood, carry water, and give up the ego about it. Do the dishes and clean the floor, but don't worry about it. Being willing to abandon your ego, all this goes away. You're not this. You're more than this. You are the consciousness inside this. It may be that beyond this thisness is another reality that operates totally differently, but you're not your body. You can't be destroyed. Your consciousness and you're eternal. Science has proven this. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed, so don't worry about annihilation. Don't worry about the simulation. Be love. I've run across suggestions for getting out of the simulation that involve meditation, taking plant medicine, opening your third eye, practicing lucid dreaming, avoiding the light when you die, and things like that. I don't have anything to say against any of that, but think about this. For in a simulation, it's pretty convincing, isn't it? How many non-real people have you fallen in love with? How many non-real heartaches have you had? If your non-real best friend died tomorrow, do you think you'd grieve? Probably so. So while all those suggestions may be helpful, I don't think that you have to learn any special skills like reading the Akashic records or speaking light language. I have found profound peace in practicing mindfulness and meditation. That puts me in a space of no time and now. Reality is in the now. If you're in the past or future, you're in a simulation. If you're triggered by the past, you're still attached. If you want to manifest a dream lover or $1 million, you're distracted. If you're chasing or glorifying spiritual experiences or spiritual teachers, you're attached. The only way that I know to be strong enough to avoid emotional entanglements, going to the light, or engaging in whatever trap there may be to keep you inside the matrix, is to learn how to let everything go and be here now. Mindfulness does that for me. Love does that for me. They dissolve the drama, complication, ego issues, and help me find and stay centered. How? Well, you're already out. When you detach from the entanglements, you'll see it. So if you want to meditate with me, I'm hosting a live stream on Mondays in January at 1 o'clock Eastern, and you're most welcome to join me on YouTube. The link is in the show notes. So thank you guys for tuning in. You've heard from me. I want to hear from you. Feel free to comment or join the conversation in our private group. We're also on YouTube if you prefer that. And if you have show ideas, that's where this one came from. Love to hear your suggestions. So much love to you all. I'm Laura Giles from Modern Animism. Thank you for being here. See you next week. Ciao.